And he figures out that, if he don't move around and don't jerk around a whole lot, it probably won't hurt him as much, won't bump him at all. And the bump, again, is similar to what if someone was to bump you on the end of the elbow just a little bit. This kind of tingles them a bit, and they feel like that, they're uncomfortable. And so they want to be as still as they can. And that's what we want them to be, because it's really safe, a lot safer for you, but it's a lot safer for the horse also. Because a horse jumping around when he's got nails stuck out of his foot, anything can happen. And we don't want to get into this situation. What we want to do, we want it to be as safe as it possibly can be for the farrier. Because believe me, we don't have nearly enough farriers out there. We need more. We sure don't need to be hurting the ones we got. And so what we're hoping to do is kind of show you a way to keep from getting hurt, kicked, stepped on, whatever. Now here we've got a young man that's going to trim this horse, or going to try to. One of the things that we try to point out in this particular part of it, whenever you handle a horse and you handle it yourself, and you start it, and you get it down to the point to where you can actually start it, and this horse knows you and knows exactly what you're doing, this horse will actually be easier with you doing it than anybody else. Now, here we see Chris Gregory's son, and this Cody, and he's just, he's just trying to work with the horse just a little bit. If you notice, this horse doesn't give anything as much attention to him as it did me, because it's a different feel, different person, the whole deal. And so whenever you get into this, you're much better off if you take a colt that you've got and you work it yourself and you start it yourself, because this horse is used to me. It's not used to Cody right now, not used to him at all. He handles the foot different, and every farrier will handle a foot just a little bit different. If a horse knows and knows you and knows everything about it, you're better off. And you can see this horse just kind of got a little cranky attitude towards him. Just don't want him messing with him. And see here, now when I go to it, he kind of has a little different feel to him. Now this is what we're wanting. This is what we're wanting to show. And so if you're going to have to do some horses like this, you're much better off if you do the groundwork on them yourself. And that's why we go to the different schools. Life Data has seen their way clear to send me to a lot of the schools, and we've shown a lot of the young farriers exactly how to start these horses. Once you start them yourself, what you're going to find out, you're going to find a horse that's a whole lot easier to deal with, because they know you. And you can see this horse is just pretty cranky with him, pretty darn cranky. Now, this would be Chris Gregory, and he actually runs a school there at Heartland Shoeing School, and he knows exactly what he's doing. But this colt, like I say, this colt just knows the difference. He knows when you can, when you can't. And so we got to go through all of this with this colt, and he just don't want anybody else messing with him at all. Now, we're going to have to go back through and tinker with him a little bit more. Now then, if you see what we've done, we've come back in. I worked him there a few minutes and kind of shown him a little different angle, what it is. And see, when I pick it up, he don't seem to mind. Okay, so what this tells us is that if you're gonna trim a set of colts or a bunch of colts, you're much ahead if you'll actually work the colts yourself and go in there and do it rather than sometimes letting the owner do it. And it's worth quite a bit just to be able to do that. I mean, for the owner, because the owners, this colt, we started out with a colt here that you couldn't even touch. In fact, they just run it in off a trailer. There's a bunch of these Hancock horses on this trailer, and they have never had a halter on until this day. And so what we're doing, we're actually starting out with something that's brand new. We've halter broke it. It's unheard of to actually halter break one and then go to trimming on it within an hour. But that's what we've done. That's what we've actually done here. And, this colt has accepted me. He's kind of decided that, hey, I'm here. This well put up with me. And so what I got to do, I got to eventually get this over to where it'll accept Cody. Now, as you see here, he's kind of letting me trim it. He's leaning on me a little bit, but not a lot. And the colt's got his head the wrong way. I like for the head to be back around to me. Now, as he kind of starts learning where we're at and what we're doing, well, then he'll get a little better at it. But, again, what we're doing, we're kind of showing him exactly what we want. Now, when the horse gets his head down, where he can actually handle it and kind of do the right thing, the horse will be a whole lot easier to handle. Whole lot easier to handle. Now, I don't believe in letting them get their foot back if I can help it. I'd rather them learn to stand there. Now, if you notice, I've used this long rope, the same one that's on his Noavel right now, and he's stepping on it, and he's doing all these other things. What that's doing, that's kind of helped to correct him a little bit as we go along. And you can see this is not just an easy little task. The colt's worked his way over against the fence. Okay, there's not much else place for him to go right now. He's kind of got to stand there and take it. Now, again, this is the worst case scenario is what this is. And, I don't pretend to be a great farrier, not even close. All I'm doing is just showing the basic steps to try to get one to where he will let you stand there and work on him. And, again, this is the front foot, but as you set him up against the fence and you've got the Noavel on him, we've taught him to actually go backwards. We want him to move backwards instead of forwards. And that's what we've done. If you notice, we've got a rope on him just so we can pick it up without getting your head right down there against him. And now he's letting Cody pick it up. And so once we get to this point, now, obviously we don't really need any more trimming on him, but all we're doing is just going in here and showing this colt that, hey, no matter who it is, they pick up the foot. There's not much you can do about it. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish with this colt, just to show him that, when we're handling his feet, he's supposed to stand still. As you can see, Cody knows exactly what he's doing. He's taking the ropes off of it now. But, the colt has calmed down. The colt has settled down and doing it. And here, as you see, we're working with the back foot. And I've still got a rope on it just to kind of keep it from going. This is the same rope that's on my Noavel Headstall. It's just the other end of it. And if this colt kicks, he actually kicks himself. And he'll see it. A back foot sometimes is easier to do than a front foot, simply because you can help them out a little more with the Noavel because they're not right there with you, and so it makes a big difference. But again, we realize there's not very many farriers that's going to go out there and go through this whole process with an unbroke horse. And this is completely an unbroke horse. I mean, this horse had never been touched before. And so once you get them to this point, what you're doing, you're taking a horse that could not be handled, and you're showing it that it can be handled. And so, we hope we don't run into too many of these out there for you, but if you do, sometimes, by golly, you need to know how to handle them. And so, hopefully this video will help you out. This is Rick Wheat. We just hope all your horses are real easy to shoe. We got a few more clips here. Thank you a lot.